Yes. All right, since the air conditioning stopped,
Yeah, it's a good idea.
we're going to call the meeting to order. Ask everyone to please stand, as we always do for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Want to get Nancy on the phone?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And as usual, I will grant Westwood Media Center and anyone else who wishes to record the meeting. You're duly noted. I'd also like to just make an announcement that Nancy Hyde will be participating in this meeting remotely, and all votes will be taken by roll call. First, under the chairman's update, I would just like to ask everyone to please take a few seconds to remember, because today is September 11th. Ask everyone for a moment of silence. Thank you. And now, moving along our agenda under the chairman's update, I would like to remind everyone that Westwood Day will be on Friday, September 28th at 7 o'clock for the football game versus Norwood, immediately followed by fireworks. On Saturday the 29th, there will be a 5K road race starting at 9 a.m. and a kids' fun run at 10 o'clock, both starting at the Westwood High School track field. The Westwood Day events will begin at 10 o'clock, right after the two road races, and that will be at the high school area. Westwood Day is the most successful because of its volunteers, and we ask everyone to please consider signing up for a 2.5-hour shift by visiting the website www.westwoodday.com and click on the volunteer section. We will be there as well, the Selectmen. We will be there for Friday night and Saturday. The board will be participating in the community events. It's a great way to enhance our community feel for this event, and we invite you to participate and have suggested some key roles below. So I know we did this last year. John, I know you did the football game, but since my son is a senior on the football team, I will be there Friday night anyway. So
You have a better radio voice.
thank you. I appreciate that. Second of all, the 5K road race is on Saturday, September 29th. The road race is at 9, fun run at 10. If anyone would like to join me, I'm always at the road race for the race and the actual award ceremony. If you want to arrive either at 9:30 or 10:30, John, I don't know if you'll be down there or not, or Nancy. It'll be right at the Westwood High School track field, and our coordinator is Dan McDonald. And later on at 1 o'clock, the Selectmen, and I invite both you and Nancy to please speak as well if you'd like. At 1 o'clock, we'll be at the main stage presentation to welcome the participants, thank our volunteers, and announce the winners of the 5K, et cetera. So we should be at the stage at about 12:45 p.m. That is next weekend. Also, 2 weeks. Also like to remind everyone that there'll be an official ribbon-cutting ceremony for the new police headquarters, which will take place on Thursday, September 20th at 8 a.m. in front of the police headquarters, and all are invited to attend. A tour will also be provided for anyone wishing to stay after the ceremony. Okay, so moving on to our scheduled action. I'm actually going to take this out of order for just a second because we do have some preliminary things that we can take care of very quickly. So first, we'd like to do the one-day special license for Hale Reservation. So would you like to come up and talk to us, Paula and Nora? And because we're in this room, everyone needs a microphone, and please identify yourself for the record because we'd like to know who's speaking at what time. Thank you. Yes, perfect.
Yes. Hi, I'm Paula McLaughlin. I'm from Hale Reservation.
I'm Nora Loughnane, Director of Community and Economic Development.
Okay, so you have a request for a one-day special license. It is the 100th year celebration. It's going to take place on October 13th from 12 to 6 p.m. at the Cat Rock Field. Do you want to tell us a little bit about it for those that are at home and watching?
Sure. So we are celebrating. We've had, throughout the centennial year, we've had several different events, on the property that pertain to the different groups that we cater to, whether it's the camps or Hale Summer Club, our past president celebration. But this is something we wanted to do for the whole community. It's sort of a big birthday party for Hale. We have 6 bands that are coming, couple local bands, Just Another Guru and Sophia Jane, who are both from Westwood, and then we have some other bigger bands, Will Evans and Rising Tide. Will Evans is the front man for Barefoot Truth. Juice, it's a band out of Boston College. They're all Boston College grads, and Busty and the Bass is our headliner. We've had a fantastic committee of volunteers who's been helping us put this together. We have great sponsors in Needham Bank, Dedham Bank, Roach Brothers, and several others who have come out to sponsor this event, and we're hoping that everyone will come out and check it out. I do want to say that in applying for this permit, Karen Flynn could not have been more patient and helpful. I started super early because, we haven't really done an event like this, and she was great. So I just want to put that out there because I think you should know when someone goes above and beyond, and she has, and Nora can hear me visiting as I'm bringing in all the things on that checklist that we need. So
And so you come before us because you need a
A one-
license.
yeah.
A one-day liquor license, is that right?
yes, and we're having a beer
Shift
garden.
Brewery?
Yeah, so Night Shift Brewing, they're coming, if you say so, and they're going to run a beer stand for us, and they will be donating some of their profits back to Hale, which is always great as a nonprofit. That's what we want. We love that about them. We'll have some food trucks, and I've been dealing with Linda as well. She was super helpful, and so what we're looking for is a one-day license.
Okay.
Okay.
And the application and everything has been submitted, Nora?
It has. It's been reviewed and unanimously recommended by the Alcohol Review Committee, subject to the receipt of a liability insurance certificate and tip certificates. Night Shift Brewery has tips trained employees. They just need to submit their certificates prior to the event.
Okay, any questions, John? Nancy?
No, no questions for me.
Okay.
Okay, I would move that the board grant an approval for Hale's one-day special beer and wine license for October 13th, 2018, pending receipt of liquor liability insurance certificates and tip certifications.
Do I have a
I'll
second?
second.
Okay. Mr. Hickey?
Aye.
Mrs. Hyde?
Aye.
Mr. Walsh? Aye. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Paula.
Thank you. I hope we'll see you all there.
We'll do our best. Thank you.
I was sold at Beer Garden.
So next we have a public hearing for a change in hours for alcohol license for Camellas. And so would each of you identify yourself just for the record, please?
Good evening, I'm JP Camella.
Mike Terry, counsel for Camellas. And I just want to say I'm also on the committee at Hale, and thank you for approving that one-day liquor license.
And so, Nora, you're also sitting on this one? Okay. Yes. So, Camellas is looking to increase their present liquor license from 11:30 to 9, which is the present time. You want to move it to 10 to 10:30 at night, and Fridays and Saturday, 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And so, Nora, do you want to tell us the steps that it took to get here?
Yes. So this application was also reviewed by the Alcohol Review Committee, and that committee recommends, again, unanimous approval of this application as well. However, they encourage the selectmen to caution the applicant about the importance of timely submittal of forms for renewing the alcohol and CV license. We have had some difficulties year after year, and we just want to make sure that the applicant understands from the selectmen how important it is to make sure that the paperwork is done accurately, completely, and on schedule.
I hear that loud and clear. There has been some issues over the few years that we've been in town. We opened, I think, in December of 14. Have not had any issues with the town as far as violations, alcohol-wise or, hours of operation-wise. Understood on the application. I think everything's always been submitted, in a timely fashion. It did take some pulling here at the end. We had an unfortunate incident over the summer with our manager crossing 109, so that certainly added to some stress. But we understand going forward.
Can you hold
on
that
the,
microphone? Yeah, just a little bit closer. Thank
going
you.
forward
First
on
time
the
we've allowed a
license.
member to do this remotely, so we've got to have a really clear tape.
Okay, understood.
I'm so
So-
old, I called it a tape, but you know what I mean.
Okay, so,
So, I'm sorry, go ahead.
go ahead, John.
I mean, JP, how many stores do you run?
Cabela's, we have 13 locations.
Okay. I mean, I just do want to be clear. I mean, Westwood has only allowed liquor licenses for approximately 10 years, 11 years, maybe. In my 2.5 years on the board, the only licensed premise that has come before the board with issues has been yours. And so we take that very seriously.
Yeah.
So I hear you when you say, like, I hear you loud and clear, but there's been a couple of instances. So there was an instance in 2016 where I actually voted not to allow you to continue. You didn't have a license. My colleagues thankfully voted in your favor. So it isn't a one-off. Like, there's a little bit of a concerning pattern here. So I'll take you at your word, but I really don't want to continue to hear these complaints after the town has granted you the relief that you're requesting. So when you say we have your assurance, I'll take you at your word. The Alcohol Review Commission in town, to me, is really a guiding committee. They're the subject matter experts in town. They're our paid professional staff, our public safety folks. So I really defer to them. I think that should be the role of a selectman. So they are recommending we go forward with this. They've asked for the caveat that we grant this extension through the end of 2018 and then review this request again. Is that something that's acceptable to you?
So you'll approve the hours conditionally, and at the end of the year, we'll look at it again, see how it went.
That would be my
Yeah.
suggestion. I can't speak for my colleagues.
It's not only how the work went with the extended hours, it's how they perform in providing timely information for renewal of the license. That's the gating issue.
Okay.
It's not that,
So
Nora,
Mike, last,
can I touch base with you as far as the deadlines and make sure that those are carved in stone?
yeah, so what we have, Mike, is last year, here we are at the middle of December, and, license have to be approved by January 1st, and we weren't meeting again. So we made it contingent upon the information being provided in a timely fashion that Cabela's did not have to close its doors. So we'd like to not have that situation again.
So I think especially if Mike is involved in helping with the submittal of the applications, we'll be in a good place. I want to make it clear that Cabela's is a wonderful business. We appreciate having them in the town, and we'd like them to continue. It's simply a matter of I think the manager sees paperwork as just something that he'll get to eventually, and it's not just paperwork. If we don't have everything in order, like allergen certificates, then the business becomes non-compliant and could lose their license. So we just want to make sure that, the current manager understands it's not just a formality, that these deadlines and requirements have to be met. So I think with Mike's assistance, we should be in good shape.
Yeah, I just
Okay.
want to echo what Nora says. I think you're a great business. I'm a member of the hockey board. You let us use your side room. Like, we appreciate it. But it's just, we can't, I can't have the subject matter experts, our paid staff, feeling that they're just not being listened to. Like, it puts the board in a weird spot, okay? So I just ask you to appreciate that. So I don't have anything else. I'll make a motion when you're ready.
I would just like to weigh in. I agree with the comments made by my colleagues on the board. I think the requirements of Westwood are not unique. And if there's any question on, this is for you, Mike, on your client's part, in terms of what's expected, we have a very capable staff who will be right there to answer questions. So we shouldn't really have any further issues, I would hope.
I agree.
Okay, so.
Okay, so the
entertain
motion
a
I'm going to make, and tell me if I need to correct this, I'm going to read right from what was prepared. The Board of Selectmen, I would move that the board grants an approval to the change of hours of operation for Cabela's Restaurant for the remainder of 2018 from 11:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily, to Sunday through Thursday, 10 a.m. to 10:30 p.m., and Friday and Saturday to 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. for the common victualers wine and malt alcohol beverage license, pending final inspection and ABCC approval, and we expect that we'll see the Cabela's back here by the end of the year for review. Does that work?
I will second that, and when we're done voting, I have a question.
Okay. Mr. Hickey?
It's a public hearing, do you have
Okay. Public hearing, do we have any questions from anyone from the public?
to? Okay, hearing none.
Okay, seeing none.
Aye.
Mrs. Hyde?
Aye.
Mr. Walsh, aye. Okay.
I have a question, Mr. Chair, for Nora. Is this particular license with the change in timing, does it also impact the entertainment license?
Yes, if they want to have entertainment during those additional hours, yes, you're right. Good point. So could we ask for the board to also change the hours of the entertainment
I think it's the
license
TVs.
accordingly?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's the TVs.
So do we need a second motion?
A second motion
Okay.
to make the same change in hours for the
So I will
entertainment
move
license.
that the board approve a change to the entertainment license corresponding to the change in hours that was approved in the last motion.
I'll second that.
Okay. Mr. Hickey?
Aye.
Mrs. Hyde?
Aye.
Mr. Walsh, aye. Okay.
Thank you.
We'll see you in December. Good luck in the meantime. All right, so next we are scheduled to have a public hearing for new ownership on Smash Burgers license. And so we will open the public hearing, and we will ask for a roll call to immediately continue this hearing to October 15th, 2018.
Second?
No, you need the motion.
You need a motion first.
Oh, do you want me to read that motion?
Sure. Well, I just opened the hearing, that's all.
Oh, I'm sorry, okay.
So moved.
You move to continue the hearing until October 15th, 2018?
Okay, so I would move that the board continue this hearing until October 15th, 2018.
Do I have a second?
7:30 PM at High
7.
Street.
I second that.
Okay. Mr. Hickey?
Aye.
Mrs. Hyde?
Aye.
Mr. Walsh, aye. Okay, the hearing is continued to October 15th at 7:30. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to backtrack a little bit to go to our original traffic supervisor's contract. And so, Joan, did you want to come up? So the purpose of this is to have the Board of Selectmen vote to approve and sign a contract between the Town of Westwood and the Westwood Traffic Supervisors Association for a period of July 1st, 2018 through June 30th, 2021. Joan, would you like to explain to us?
Absolutely. So this is our remaining contract that was outstanding, and we are thrilled to have settled it. We've got a group of great traffic supervisors in Westwood. They keep our kids safe and other pedestrians at near school crossings. So it was a great meeting that we had with them. There are basically three components to the contract three changes to the contract that you've got in front of you. One is a cost of living increase for the traffic supervisors. Another is an increase in the number of paid sick days for them from 5 per year to 7. And the third is that we're now including them in our longevity program that benefit eligible employees in the town. Traffic supervisors are not benefit eligible because they basically work such a short workday. It's 2 hours a day. But, some of them have been with us for 20 years, and we think it's important to acknowledge that. So the town has offered them to participate in the longevity program, which other town employees participate in.
So, Joan, what is, for those that are unfamiliar with it, what is the longevity benefit? What does that mean?
The longevity benefit is that after someone has been with the town for 5 years, they are entitled to a bonus of $30 per year of service.
Okay.
So on their 5-year anniversary, they would get a nice bonus in December for $150, $30 for each year, and then thereafter, they would get $30 per year for every year in December.
What does the town get for that?
I'm sorry?
Like, what does the town get for that? Like, we gave a lot here, but did we get anything? Did we get any change in working conditions? Did we get?
The important thing that we're trying to encourage is longevity, because it becomes difficult to fill the position, and you really don't know what you got. But when you have these longstanding employees, They do a great job. They're very dedicated to the job. And so we want to encourage them to stay. We want to give them a little bit of a benefit. And that really is what we're getting out of it.
But we're talking, how many employees are there?
9 or 10.
Okay, so these folks work like a 39-week year.
Yeah, they work for, the school year.
They work for the school year. So they're off on school days,
Yep.
they're off on school vacations, they're off all summer. Why would we increase sick days?
Part of the their sick day is a 2-hour day, just to remind us. You know what this group feels, it was an interesting conversation we had with them in our meeting. There was quite a bit of conversation about their safety. We have a lot of motorists in Westwood who are not the most cooperative or obedient when it comes to traffic supervisors. And
Yeah.
honestly,
We hear them.
it was an eye-opening conversation that we had with them. And to that end, I think that we put an article in the most recent copy of the Westwood Bulletin to remind motorists to respect. So we wanted to express our appreciation for these people who actually had been without a contract since 2016. So
So when a traffic supervisor calls in sick, who crosses the kids?
Well, we have some backup traffic supervisors that we can call upon, and then when we don't have anyone available, which is
The police
sometimes the
officer.
case.
How much notice do they have to give?
Police officer.
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay. And I saw that. I saw what you wrote. I mean, I'm going to touch on education in a minute. It says, every day crossing guards and bus drivers report motorists who speed through crosswalks and pass stopped buses. Is anybody tracking that?
Yes, they reported into Paul Satad, the public safety officer, and he takes
He
action.
follows up?
Yeah, he
Okay.
follows up with it. And I just want to add one thing, John, to the sick leave. Unlike any other employees in town, this group does not get to carry over. They don't, so they start each year with 7 days, and then at the end of the year, they're done.
But did we go to 5? Did we go to 7 because 5 is being utilized?
We're told that they have instances where they get above 5, and then they're calling in sick and not being able to get paid for it.
It just, we're a policymaking and fiscal oversight board. I have to be honest. This is like really rich. If the economic times weren't as good as they are, you wouldn't have entered into this. I mean, so the kids, the taxpayers, achieved nothing in this contract, right? Except and let me stop for a second. When you say COLAs of 3%, is that in addition to step increases?
Yeah,
There
there's
are
a
some
4-step salary schedule
that are
for.
on 5-year basis, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And what's
It's in
what's the difference in each? What's the percentage increase?
Can't remember. They're usually 2%.
Between the steps, about 2%.
So potentially next year, we're giving someone a 5% raise, 7 sick days, and at least $150.
So what was unsaid, and so I'll make it a little bit clearer, because it was unsaid, is that for 2 years, there's been no adjustment at all.
They didn't.
They were working without a contract.
Okay.
So on one level, there's a bit of catch-up here, and that's why you're seeing the percentage at the percentage that we've got. So they're being treated like other employees, in that we're trying to.
But Mike,
catch
they're
up.
not like other employees, though. They work 39 weeks a year.
Yeah, but it's a hazardous duty.
Well, Mike, it's hazardous because, as I've talked to you about, we're not doing enough traffic enforcement. I mean, we could make this job safer for them. I mean, what are we doing there?
Okay.
Like giving money and sick pay to people, does that make the job less hazardous? I
With all
think it's
due
overly
respect-
rich.
With all due respect, these people are out there in blizzards, in rotten weather. They are putting their lives on the line, and in fact, there was one catastrophic, accident that happened a few years ago.
No, it's
So-
no disrespect to anybody. It's not, but I maintain if we weren't enjoying the fiscal richness that we're in right now, I don't think we'd be looking at this. I think it's overly rich. There's no way I'm supporting it tonight.
I thought it was good to use Sandy Pendel's picture, Mike, in the newsletter for those. She passed away this summer, so it was very nice to include that. You know, when I saw that, Sandy was at the corner of Pine Lane and Clapboard Tree, so I thought that was a very nice touch. Mrs. Hyde, do you have anything to say? Or
Yeah, I have a question for Joan and Mike. Is there a table or information about what, without names attached, what the resulting compensation looks like in numbers, in dollars? We're looking at percentages and things of a part-time job, and it might be helpful to just have that perspective. Might not change, an evaluation overall, but that information might be helpful.
I'd also like to know what other towns do.
No, we can get that for you easily. And to your question, Nancy, the information can be made available. We don't have it.
We don't have it tonight. We
Yeah.
certainly have it prepared to,
Yeah.
for payroll purposes.
That might be a good idea to, to assemble some additional information. Again, might help us put it in a context. I hear John's concerns, and I know you all have been trying to work out what you thought was a relatively appropriate contract in comparison to other contracts we have. But we just need a chance, I think, to digest what it means when we do something for a group like this that, their hours are different, their jobs are important, the delivery of services is extremely important to our families with children going to school. So we want to make sure we're fair, but I think we need a few comparisons to know that it's in an appropriate context.
Well, I'm happy to provide those for you if you want to consider it further and take this up at a subsequent meeting. I guess I would encourage just clarification that your concern is not about our staff or the work they do. I just fear that if they're watching this, they may get very discouraged.
They do a great
So-
job. I think we have a role as a fiscal oversight board to ask these questions. I mean, you have grown this contract, and I need more information.
So I think the hard part, Joan, is that we're just getting this, and you've been working closely with it. Us having a discussion is not at all a negative reflection on the people who do this great work. And they care for the kids. They know the kids. They make sure. They know somebody might be slower crossing the street. They are really engaged, and everything they do is important. But we do need to do our due diligence in terms of what the contract means.
Joan, they haven't had a contract since what?
2016.
16. So we're giving them 6% through 20, and we're making up for 5 years?
Yeah.
1% a year.
No, that math is wrong.
Well, so since June of
How's that
2016.
wrong?
Because once you're here for 5 years, you're eligible for a 4% step. The majority of them have been here, right? You said there's 4 steps.
There's 4 steps, 2% between each step. I don't, I'd rather not quote the numbers without it in front of me, and so I'm
It's not
sorry, I
1%
just don't.
there.
COLA, yes. Contract negotiations are different. Every contract in this entire town has a step built into it. Everyone.
That's through collective bargaining.
Correct, and that's what this is, collective bargaining.
Right.
So, but they also get, let's see, we have the contracts that we just voted on. Everyone was at least 2% per year. Everyone. And came out 6 was the number for 3 years. So this is 6 for 5 years.
I don't agree with your math. It's
Okay.
okay to disagree.
They got no COLA for 2 years. So we are doing a little catch-up, as Mike indicated.
Okay.
We thought it was very fair and reasonable. But
So-
I will provide you whatever information you need to see.
Okay, and we'll take this up at our, postpone it,
next
to
meeting,
take it up at our next meeting?
Yeah, we'll come back with more information, take it up next meeting.
Okay,
Great,
thank you, John.
thank you.
Thank you, John.
All right, so moving along to new business. We have a fall town meeting decision to be made tonight. And so, Mike, did you want to tell us that, or Nora, did you want to tell us the planning board has only a few articles, correct? And none
Yes,
are pressing.
The planning board has some, took a review and have some articles, 3 of which are articles that were rejected from last year's fall town meeting. But there is nothing in the articles, and Nora can confirm this, nothing in the 10 submitted articles that is necessary to be done this fall, and it can wait till the spring. And having a little bit more time to contemplate those articles probably would be an advantage. So there is nothing else. So I don't see, I see it very difficult to justify the cost and expect that 175 people are going to show up for planning board articles. I mean, it's just not the most exciting thing for people to come out and vote on, so.
Okay. We haven't had any petitioner articles? So
None.
Nothing.
No petitioner articles were submitted.
Ms. Dickey, anything?
Dave, do you want to talk about that from a planning board perspective?
I didn't have anything prepared, but yeah, I would agree with
David,
with
you
Mike's.
just identify yourself.
Sorry.
David Atkins, 85 Parker Street, Chairman of the Planning Board.
Thank you, Dave.
Yeah, I would agree with the way Mr. Gillette summed things up. I mean, we had a number of items that we were discussing, but especially with the comprehensive plan coming up, we expect there's a lot of work to be done on that. So, you know, the 3 articles that had been that were not approved, it would be one of those would be nice to get that taken care of. But there were, of the other articles, I don't sense that the board had a strong, like, we really have to have this kind
Right.
of thing. So.
Okay.
Okay.
Anybody else?
Mrs. Hyde, anything?
Yeah, I just want to say that in addition to there being, I think Dave was the planning board's been very accommodating in that, not pressing to take care of some of their articles that I guess will probably come forward in May, but also with the state election in November, where the holiday falls, it's good for a lot of other work that needs to be done not to have this meeting. So I think it's a wise decision to forego it.
Okay, so
I would move that the board cancel the fall town meeting and to order that notice of its decision with regard to such meeting be posted in accordance with Chapter 2, Section 6-1, the business session of the town meeting of the town charter.
I'll second that.
okay, Mr. Hickey?
Aye.
Mrs. Hyde?
Aye.
Mr. Walsh, aye. So we will postpone the fall annual town meeting. See you in the spring. Next, we have the release of the second quarter capital. So this is to request that the Board of Selectmen release the second quarter capital that was approved at annual town meeting in the amount of $555,167.
I would move that the board approve the release of the second quarter capital funding totaling $555,167 to the various departments contingent upon the satisfaction of all procurement procedures.
Second.
Mr. Hickey?
Aye.
Mrs. Hyde?
Aye.
Mr. Welsh, aye. Okay, thank you. Next, we move along to the Metropolitan Planning Organization, or the MPO nominations. The purpose of this is to have the Board of Selectmen authorize the signing of the nomination papers for the municipal election for the Boston Regional Metropolitan Planning Organization, also known as the MPO, to represent the Three Rivers Interlocal Council, also nicknamed TRIC, which Westwood is a member of the community. So, yes. So in the past, the town of Norwood intends to designate Tom O'Rourke. I did speak with Tom yesterday. He is the president and CEO of the Neponset Valley Chamber of Commerce, and he is going to represent it on the TRIC seat. Tom has been filling this role for the past 4 years, so he has extensive knowledge in both the TRIC and the MPO dealings. Our own Steve Olenoff has and will continue to serve as Tom's backup if Tom is unable to attend. The election is held on October 31st, The location has not been decided yet, but we are here to basically authorize the chairman to sign the election ballot.
So I would move that the board vote to authorize the chairman to sign the 2018 Metropolitan Planning Organization election ballot, nominating and voting for the selected member of the Norwood Board of Selectmen, and to support the designation of Tom O'Rourke to represent Trick at the MPO meetings.
I'll second.
Mr. Hickey?
Aye.
Mrs. Hyde?
Aye.
Mr. Walsh, aye. Moving along to our old business. We have the review of the comprehensive plan process and options. Both Nora and Dave still have our microphone? Yes, you do. Okay.
So the planning board considered the different options for the comprehensive plan at their last meeting, and they voted to, they had consensus, I can't remember if you actually took a vote, but they had a consensus to go along with the town planner's recommendation that the Board of Selectmen appoint between 9 and 18 steering committee members, and that staff, along with those steering committee members, proceed in updating the 2000 comprehensive plan for approval by the planning board in the fall of 2019. The proposal would also call for the hiring of a consultant to handle the public participation process portion of the plan, including a visioning session and the construction of a survey for solicitation, and the request would be for funding for those items as well.
So Nora, it looks to me like it says the consultant cost that you're looking for is up to $25,000. Correct. Is that, okay.
So just to be clear, we haven't put that out to bid, so I don't know
right,
the
right.
exact
No,
amount,
I'm
but that's
fine.
our estimate.
No, and I think just to go back to the conversation we had, I think it, there was discussion at one point of having a consultant come in and do the whole thing, and we were probably north of $100,000.
Right, so the estimates, I think, for a full plan by a consultant would be anywhere from $100,000 to $150,000. This is an update. I would hope it would be on the lower end, but it could be as high as $150,000. In addition to the expense of that, you have a significant time delay, because what that would require is for us to go to Springtown meeting and request funding, and only then begin the process. Springtown meeting in May, by the time that's complete and we sign a contract, it's not a good time to start a comprehensive plan process, so it would be pushed off until the following fall.
I agree with you, and I think this is a rewrite. I think we have to remind everybody of that, right? Like, we have a document. We're
It's an
looking to
update.
it.
So we'll begin by staff updating the data that go along with the plan. And then the reason the recommendation is for between 9 and 18 steering committee members is because there are 9 elements of the comprehensive plan. And we're hoping that we can attract people who can concentrate on one element, either 1 or 2 people that can concentrate on rewriting that element with the data that's updated from 2000 till today, and then just updating the goals in recognition of the public participation and the comments that are received at meetings.
Yeah, I think the most important thing now is we want to get started, get the process started, and kind of after hearing from Member Hyde at the last meeting in particular, and kind of thinking through the complexities that would be involved with having a lot of volunteers and actually managing the process. Nora was very helpful in the last meeting of laying out kind of how this would work. And so by focusing the consultant resources on the visioning, the public participation section, I think that's the best bang for the buck. And it just allows us to get started with this process, take the work that's been done by other committees already, get everyone engaged in that, bring everybody's input in that session in this winter, and get us to the goal of getting this done in a timely manner. So I think we're ready to get started, and just want to remove any impediments.
How soon do you think it would get started, realistically? If we approve the funds tonight.
So if you approve the funds and you agree to request applications for steering committee members, with the idea that anyone who's interested in being on the steering committee could submit a letter of interest, a resume, a writing sample to the board. If the board could then select members to serve on the steering committee at their October meeting, we could begin right in after that. I think we would, Abby submitted a draft schedule to the planning board. I don't have it in front of me, but it began with preliminary work on data collection in October and November, and I think we were looking at having the public participation, the visioning session in the early part of 2019. And the whole plan, the idea would be to get it to the planning board so the planning board could adopt the plan in the early fall of 2019 and then bring it to town meeting. If there's a fall town meeting in 2019, bring it to them for endorsement.
And so I suppose my question is, how are we going to, besides our meeting, how are we going to get this out there that we're looking for members, from the public?
Well, we put something in the newsletter, it just came out today, or it's about to hit your mailbox if it hasn't already. So that effort started, we're ready to put something online if we haven't already.
In Westwood Wire, which is going out in the next couple of days, next week, so it'll be in Westwood Wire. In addition, the planning board members who are available are going to staff a table at Westwood Day with a large sign letting people know that we're starting the comprehensive plan and inviting them to submit their resumes. And we'll have cards with the information that they need to submit that people can pick up and take that home with them. We can ask WestCat to run an announcement as well, Westwood Media Center to run an announcement as well, and we can put something in the Westwood Press and the Hometown Weekly.
And I just saw some nods from the back of the room that
Yes.
Westcat will do that.
No, you mean the Westwood Media Center, yes.
Media center, sorry.
Okay. Any other questions? Mrs. Hyde, anything?
No, yeah, thanks, Mike. Nora, I would suggest the library and both the main library and the branch library have flyers.
Yes, we'll do that, and we'll also
in
put
there
a
or
flyer.
some kind of poster.
We'll also put a flyer at the senior center. We'll add something to the schools district bulletin. And in addition, Abby is creating a Facebook page for the planning board specifically for the comprehensive plan. So we're tackling it from every direction we can, and also spreading it by word of mouth, that anyone who's interested in helping to shape the future of this community is welcome to participate either as a steering committee member or simply by attending and participating in sessions of the planning board where we discuss the comprehensive plan.
Okay. Anything else?
I just want to add that, I had several questions at our last meeting, wanting to be sure that we were approaching this in a way that we could actually achieve the objectives that we all agree to. And I think with further discussion, understanding how it's structured and the planning board and staff articulating that whole process, I think it's a good approach. As everybody's noting, it's an update. It's not a new comprehensive plan, which we've known all along. But I think if we approach it that way and remember that we're not reinventing the wheel, I think there's only one section you folks are considering as a new section on sustainability. Otherwise, it's an update with current data, looking forward and saying, do the old objectives still hold? If not, how do they have to be reshaped? So hopefully it's not overly complex a task, and we can indeed accomplish it in the next year.
Yeah, and I mean, I think
So I'm supportive.
Okay. I think the consultant is a great idea. I mean, Nancy brought it up last time, is that, it's such a large undertaking that, to have a member of the public or even the planning board take that much time, to do it is going to be a multitask, if nothing else. So I think it's a good idea. Take a motion, Mr. Hickey.
I move that the board establish a steering committee to update the comprehensive plan and to provide financial support up to $25,000 from the board's reserve fund to hire a consultant to lead the vision session and possible informational meetings. Does that work?
Yeah.
Correct. Thank you.
I second that.
Okay, Mr. Hickey.
Aye.
Mrs. Hyde.
Aye.
Mr. Walsh. Aye. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dave.
Okay. So now we have, last on our agenda this evening, we have the draft of the FYI 19 municipal goals.
Right.
Would you like the
So-
floor, Mr. Gillette?
So what the board asked me to prepare at the last meeting was some overarching goals to start out the goals document, and we did some modifications. Various department heads took another look at the goals that they had submitted and refined them. So I'm putting the draft in front of you. I'm not expecting a vote on that tonight. I think that I still received some comments just today on some additional things to be considered, which will be added. But I encourage you in the next 2 weeks until the next meeting to give me more feedback and ask for clarification if you need it on any of the goals, so we can put it before you at the next meeting and have a final vote for the year.
I think it's a very good start, Mike. I mean, the number one thing has to be communication. That's what we all hear. How we didn't know anything about it. How did you know? And
Yeah.
I appreciate the Westwood Wire that's out there now that comes in by email. And I know we're making steps in the right direction. But Mr. Hickey,
You know, the only thing I would say, Mike, is I agree with Michael. I think they're good. I do think, you know, around the issue of public safety, you know, again, the status update, utilize additional mobile speed signs for data collection. Like, do we really need more data? Like, I think we have plenty of data. Like, we could stand at Dunkin' Donuts today and watch people fly through the crosswalk as people are trying to cross. Like, I see it every day. I walk on Pond Street, people are speeding. Like, I think we need to stop talking about data collection and education. Like, I really want to hear about enforcement and next steps.
So I'll make it very specific. It'll be a goal that'll be added to the next update that will say increase of traffic enforcement and report
And
on it
reporting
on a
to us.
regular
Yeah.
basis to the Board of Selectmen.
Mrs. Hickey, anything?
Mrs. Hyde.
Mrs. Hyde,
How about
sorry.
Mrs.
Hyde?
Hickey's home
Yeah.
with a sick kid. She wishes she was here.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Hyde. Anything?
Yes, Mrs. Hickey is in here. Mike Gillette, I thank you for the summary at the front of the document of overarching goals. Have you shared those with the executive function group? And if so, what kind of feedback have you received?
I do nothing without sharing it with the executive function group. So they've already received copies of it and made comments on it, and we'll continue to discuss it at the next meeting, which is scheduled on Monday.
Okay, so I think that will be important for us to know if there are any concerns or otherwise support of this, because I think as this document's evolved, it's become very strong and has a lot of depth, and I think it just gives people great guidance, and it helps us understand the direction that everybody's been given. So it'd be good to get that feedback, Mike, when we finally go to approve it.
Yeah. You'll get it.
Anything else? All right. Any questions from the public or press? Seeing none. Our next meeting will be Monday, September 24th, at the EOC Training Room at the police station at 7:30 p.m. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I will second that.
Okay, Mr. Hickey,
Aye.
Mrs. Hyde,
Aye.
Mr. Walsh, aye. We are adjourned. Thank you. We'll see you on Monday, September 24th at 7:30 p.m.